Hey Caesar, this is the recipe from yesterday for the soup. Yesterday's soup was a combination of acorn squash and sweet potato. You can actually substitute it with pumpkin, all butternut squash, or sweet potato, but Hannah says she can't eat squash, so yeah, if you wanted to, you can use sweet potato and pumpkin with about a half and half ratio. So what I did yesterday was 4 times the amount. So today I'm just gonna show you 1 time the amount. I don't have the acorn squash and sweet potato here, but I have the rest of the ingredients. So basically the only fresh ingredients you need for this is 1 acorn squash, and it looks like this. It's kind of greenish. It kind of looks like a pumpkin. It comes in different sizes, but maybe you want to pick out one that's about a size of a between 1 to 2 size of a softball. Basically it was like that big, the ones I got. And then the sweet potato was about the size of this phone. So and it's a 1-to-1 ratio for this recipe. So you want to get 1 sweet potato and 1 acorn squash. The rest of the ingredients is going to be blue agave for sweetener. I use this because it's healthier than just plain sugar, and it blends more easily than honey. The 3 spices that I used was cardamom. That's cardamom. That's kind of has it's a unique flavor. So if you get and smell it, it's kind of you'll see what I mean. The pumpkin spice one is a mixture of different seasoning, cinnamon, nutmeg. It has cardamom too, but I like a stronger cardamom flavor, so I put more in there in the soup. And then a little bit of ground nutmeg is the third last dry ingredients. The other wet ingredients is going to be just plain water. And like I said yesterday, I had the oat eggnog. You can actually use milk. You can actually use substitute for coconut milk or plain oat milk. I know you said you had allergies to dairy, so yeah, I had used oat milk, so you should be fine there. So I'm not going to show you, but I'm just going to talk it through. The first step that I did was kind of boil the sweet potato and acorn squash together. That would probably take about 30 minutes. You don't want to overcook and over steam the acorn squash because you want it a little bit stiff still, so when you cut it open it becomes easier to peel. So once I have that, I cook it for 30 minutes, then I let it cool a little bit, and then I peel the potato. I peel the potato after I boil it because it's a lot easier to peel. The skin just comes right off. And then with the acorn squash, I cut it in half, and you'll need to just de-seed it. And what I usually like to do is I put a strainer underneath so I can catch some of the juices left. If you cut it open on the cutting board, scrape out the seeds, all the juices flows out, and I actually like to save those juices in the soup. But it really isn't going to make too much of a difference if you don't save the soup, the juice from the acorn squash. So that's the next step. So that's the first step. So I have cooking the sweet potato and the acorn squash. So then the next step is I dump those into a blender without the seeds and peeled, and then I throw in there a half of a cup of the oat nog, and then a 1/4 cup of just plain water, and then the last wet ingredient is just the sugar. I put in about a tablespoon of blue agave. If the sweet potato ends up being really sweet, you don't need that much sugar, so you can kind of adjust the sugar content to what you like. So that's basically it. So then all I do is I put in the blender and I start blending it. And then once it's blended a little bit to get the water and liquid mixed, you want to blend it to a texture that looks like a smoothie. If it's too thick, you can add a little bit more water. And if it's too thin, then obviously you can't go back unless you have more potatoes, which when I was cooking I had more potatoes and I just put a little bit more if it was too thin. So then after all that's blended, I'll add the dry ingredients, which is a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, a 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin spice, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom. I put that in, mix it all together, and reblend it again, and then that's basically it. It's very simple, very straightforward, but it's healthy and tastes very good. And then if you wanted to, you just heat it up in the pot together again. And there you go. That's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Text me